We have a long history on this project. That is absolutely true. And anybody that's been involved in this project should admit that there's been a really, really bad relationship in the past. And I don't know how much more clear I can be, but the dynamic that we used to work under has not been helpful, has not been healthy. And it's not the only project that we've had it, but this is the last project that we have confronted this dynamic. So yes, there's years of planning in the works, but unfortunately, that years of planning wasn't very helpful for the city because it was not done in a really helpful way for each other. So I'm not pointing fingers at the other side. I'm just saying that the timelines and the delays, we come by honestly in our administration because there have been challenges in the past that drag things along. Anytime we have to submit a grandma request to get documents to make decisions, that's not a very healthy reflection of doing business. We're trying to do things differently now. There's been all kinds of talk about what we could do to go around the council and the city. There's been, if we hold this project back, maybe they'll vote for that project. And frankly, this project has come to a head in a way that has been really challenging. And my hope and my goal of this entire thing is to make sure that we don't ever do it this way again. We've got to get to a point where we're at the table from the beginning and doing it in a really fair and transparent way for and with each other. That goes both ways. So I can only control my side, and I'm trying my best to do that. That's why we're struggling, you guys. So all the comments in the papers and the comments on social media and the comments here, that's just the reality. I'm not hiding from it. I'm calling it out because it's the fact. And I'm calling it out because I want and I demand that we do better collectively for each other and with each other moving forward. And so that's been what we've been trying to do in our administration since I've been here. We have had opportunities to have input on our side with the Housing Authority. And frankly, I didn't know about the statute until the council made me aware. But most people don't recognize the difference between us. They think that we're the same. We're not. It's no different than the governor and the legislature. The governor doesn't tell the legislature what to do. The governor has a voice, makes recommendations, lobbies them for this outcome or that. It's the same here. We are all independently and duly elected to serve a role. And if we don't respect one another's role, we get really cranky with each other. And we're not a place that's going to work like that. So I've got to respect their independence and their authority and their decision on this. I'm providing as much input and support along the way as I can. But frankly, they brought up some things that we didn't ask the Housing Authority when we were doing it on our side. And I find that really helpful. They've done a really good job of asking critical questions. And so things have come up where I'm like, oh man, I didn't think about that. I didn't know that, right? So we're going to get answers for all that. And it is taking us some time. But if you think about it from the context of when we actually started, November, I don't know when in November, it's actually been really truncated for a project of this type. But it's just a reflection of what we've been like in the past and what we're trying to be like moving forward. And I'm really sorry that it's been this hard for this project. I promise you that it hasn't been the only project that's been hard. But this has been the most vocal and the most visible, the most pressure-packed, etc. That is what it is. We are working our way through it. We are growing through this. It's growing pains, I get it. But to say that we are doing this last minute thing, it is what it is. We're doing our best. And I actually really commend the council for the integrity and the level of class at which you've brought to the discussion. It's a reflection of the kind of people we have. So as we look for new locations, we are working on the exact criteria that Andy Beals provided to us in the work session with you guys. And I'll just say that includes everywhere in the county, including the East Bench. And I'll just call out that I live next to 3000 Polk, which is one of the largest subsidized housing projects in the city. It's just down the street and in between me and Marcia, Councilmember White. It's also an area that has one of the highest yeah, thanks. That is my name. It's also one of the areas that has a really high call volume, calls for service. I know that there's a reason I know that address by heart. It gets a lot of calls for service. And so it has an impact on our street and neighborhood. And that's the kind of thing that we're just trying to be mindful of as we make a decision on this particular project.